I'm also putting the unless you joined since last night at about 10, you should already have the training materials. If you don't have the training materials, I'm putting that in chat now. Give me just a second. I'm going to put it in chat several times as people join late. Okay, as people join late. So good. All right. I've been doing these trainings every 2 weeks um, for 4 years. I think it's about 6 weeks from now. 6 weeks from now will be, and really more than every other week for 4 years. I've been doing this training a ton. So welcome, and it's so cool to do this. I think probably I'm hoping about midway. And again, how many of you have done this training before? Anybody here done this training before? Okay, good. I'm hoping about midway, you'll see why I'm so excited about this. This is a big deal. So thank you all. Thank you all for coming. If you need the training materials, let me know. There's not a PowerPoint. This is in place of a PowerPoint. I'm gonna just yell out the pages we're on as we're on them, and then you can kind of you can follow along if you like. If not, um, yeah, if not, follow live, and then you'll have the training program. You'll have the training program to print later. The training manual is also meant to be a practice guide. So all the things in it, you can use this and just print it out and have it in your practice, especially the pages that you might need. So good. Welcome. A little bit about me. I'm Tom Zimmerman. I'm a therapist in Ohio. I'm an EMDR trainer and consultant, and I've been busy at the intersection. Also, terribly dirty glasses. I've busy at the intersection of really translating how we train you to work with the clients you actually see. And even if I mean, have you ever taken a trauma training or really a kind of an approach to psychotherapy training? And it's like they train you really well for the people you don't actually see. They like train you really well for like really, really healthy people. And so one of the things that I've been about is like helping do the adjustment, do the translation. Well, okay, for instance, in EMDR therapy, the center of it is noticing. What if noticing they have no construct for what that even is? We have to show them that stuff. Um, so that's what I've been up to. Page 3. What this training teaches you, there's 7 steps in this version of Flash, kind of 6 core steps, and then we redo them with a future orientation for like future worries, future concerns in the 7th step. Okay, so I want to teach you what those steps are, how to do it, how to do them well, how to identify when something's going sideways because it's trauma. What might go wrong, right? What might go wrong with trauma, and Flash is remarkably simple right up until the point that it's not. It's like everything. It's like love. Love is incredibly simple, and then it gets infinitely complicated when it gets complicated. Or parenting, parenting. What could be easier? And then yet, things can get infinitely complicated really, really quick. So, yeah. Um, yeah, what we're up to here. And again, one of the things that I've been about almost as much as anything else is, and you're going to hear it a lot. You're going to hear it a lot in this training. And if you're like, crap, Tom, I just came for a technique. I just came for a technique. And you're trying to change my mind about what a mind is. Does that make sense? Because one of the things that's happening is what we thought a mind is Neuroscience is showing us pretty clearly that that's not actually what a mind is. Right? A human mind is very, very, very different than what we've had in our mind. And our therapies, what the point I've been saying is that our therapies need to treat the mind we have. Right? We have to treat the mind we have, not the one that we thought we've had. And why do we think we have a certain mind? Cultural crap. Do you know what a cultural like ideas, right? So many ideas about how we heal are, you know, generations old. And we have a mind that's very, very different than the mind that we thought that we've had. And again, Flash is weird. I'm going to begin with that. Flash is weird, and I'm not meaning that in a disparaging way. I mean that as one of its best assets because Flash is culturally bizarre. It's culturally doesn't make sense. And one of the things that's really great about that is that the things that we do that make sense don't work, right? The things that we do that make perfect cultural sense, the numbing, the rumination, the catharsis, the like having the endless catharsis, the trying to love other people whole, whatever the heck it is, you're doing. Those things don't make sense. I mean, those things that do make sense don't actually result in healing, but we'll endlessly do them. So Flash is weird. Flash is very, very weird. And it involves two core weird things. Okay. And the very first thing is you have to look at the memory that you're working on blindingly fast. And whatever you think that is, if you haven't done Flash, it's faster than that. Okay. So if in the memory, a father's going, "You're so stupid," we're just getting that. That's it. Does that make sense? And even as I say that, doesn't that feel a little bit non-satisfactory? Do you know what I mean? Don't parts of us want to play it more? Don't parts of us want it to show up in our bodies? We want to have a certain catharsis with it. And ever since Freud and Breuer told us 135 years ago that that's how you heal, that's what therapy's been. You go to therapy, and when you work on trauma, you have to have a certain type of catharsis with it. But what if you don't? What if you can look at the memory so quickly, you just get a tiny piece of it, right? One that your mind may not be entirely sure what to do with. It's a little bitty tiny piece of something. The other thing that we do, number one, first of all, you haven't ever looked at a memory that quickly if you haven't done Flash before. Does it make sense? That in and of itself is very, very, very culturally weird. If you haven't done Flash before, you haven't looked at a memory that quickly before, period. You just haven't. There's no other psychotherapy where you look at a memory that blindingly fast. And then you pivot away from it and you do something else that you've never, ever done in this way. You immediately engage, ideally in a YouTube video of puppies, kittens, right? And this is not substitution, right? We're not spinning people around to explain exactly what's going on in a predictive mind for why this makes sense and isn't actually weird at all. So you look at a memory blindingly fast, we're going to push whatever activation came out of our awareness, and we're going to look at puppies, kittens, whatever it is you love. My favorite calm scene I've ever seen a client do is they bring their favorite deli sandwich to session, wrapped in deli paper, and they smell it. They're just sniffing a sandwich. And look, and they're crinkling the paper. Anybody here like a sandwich that way? I mean, this client did. I mean, just love that sandwich. And again, that's their pleasant scene. So when I say YouTube video, I'm going to reference it as a calm scene, but really it's calm, engaging, funny, silly, distracting, whatever. It can be your favorite Spotify playlist, okay? Not your breakup playlist, right? Not your angsty teen, want to jump off a bridge playlist, right? Not that playlist, but the get up and dance, power anthem, we've got this playlist. Okay, good. And yes, there are many, many clients for whom food is an overly complicated construct. Assess for disordered eating, but But whatever it is your clients love, we can do that. That's where we're spending almost all of our time in Flash, is engaging in a pleasant scene. You know who's going to love that? Kids. You know who's else going to love that? Grown-ups with kid parts, right? You know who else is going to love that? Is grown-ups that don't want to feel. Okay, so your highly dissociative clients with a little bit of front loading are going to like Flash. Okay. Flash itself was developed by an EMDR therapist named Phil Manfield going on 10 years ago, right? 2017. Can you all believe 2017 is almost 10 years ago? That's just like surreal. So nearly 10 years ago, Phil Manfield debuted Flash as a way inside EMDR therapy to take some volatility and heat out of a difficult memory so that you could go into it. Oh, I love Melissa's question. Melissa, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Good. So that you can take heat out of the memory, right? You can take heat out of the memory and you can make an 8, 9, 10 memory, a 1, 2, 3 memory, and then go in with it a lot more neutralized and kind of clean up the debris. And if that's what Flash was, then that'd be worth a 3-hour training on a Tuesday, just that. But Flash has grown up, right? It's grown up. It's developed its own voice, and it's like showed us how to do it well. And when you do it well, Flash fully resolves memories while watching YouTube videos of pleasant things. And I don't care if you believe that. I'm not in the faith business. Let me show you. I will show you. I will spend time endlessly and for free until you see it. Okay? That people can fully adaptively permanently heal using Flash. Okay? So, but it emerged as a way to just take heat out. And in order to get trained in it, you had to already be trained in EMDR therapy or in some other transformational cycle. That made no sense to me. So this version of Flash exists because it's allowed to, because Flash is not trademarked, right? If you want to own something, you trademark it and you defend that trademark. Otherwise, other versions of it are allowed to exist. And my calculation is there's probably about 15 million versions of Flash. Not many, but thousands and thousands of versions of Flash, because almost every therapist does it a little bit differently. Okay, but this is one way to do it. Go make your own. It's one way to do it. Because Flash turns any resource into a transformational trauma therapy. You can do Flash with yoga. You can do Flash with bike riding. You can do equine Flash. You can do playing a video game Flash. You can, thousands of people do Flash on a walk. You can go for a walk and resolve memories. You can pet a dog and resolve memories. Flash turns any resource into a transformational trauma therapy. All right, page 4, the core steps. So we're going to talk about the steps. I'm going to walk through them slowly, but I want to sketch it out because this is weird. And with weird things, you got to show them. You got to show people an overview and then more specific and then more specific. So that's what we're doing. The 6 steps. Step 1, don't overthink the container. The container can be as simple as this. You want to copy me with that? Just copy me. Send it away. You see what we just did there? We just did a motor movement that's sending the message what? I'm not thinking about this. I'm not feeling this. I'm not attaching to this. I'm not trying to see what it connects to. And for goodness freaking sake, we're not noticing it. Do you know why we're not noticing it? Because Flash is not EMDR. Okay, Flash is not EMDR. EMDR is not Flash. There's nothing that doing EMDR well can teach you about how to do Flash well. There's nothing about doing Flash well that will teach you about how to. It's not orange, Mandarin orange. It's orange kitten. It's orange kitten. They're that different. And it's not even an orange kitten. It's a gray kitten. They're completely different. So they're like, where's the BLS? I've never done flash with bilateral stimulation. It makes no sense from a predictive mind point of view. And my clients resolve whatever they target 95% of the time in a single session. So if you can do something without something, that thing can't be the active ingredient. Does that make sense? But if you want to do BLS, do BLS. Some people love Yankee Doodle. You can have your clients hum Yankee Doodle, but it's not going to help them find their way into that calm scene, which is the active ingredient. Okay, so for those of you who may have been trained in other versions of Flash, there's no SUDS in this version of Flash. It's not necessary. The SUDS in Flash in this version is about therapist anxiety. And you'll see why the SUDS is really pointless in this version of Flash, because if they're doing what you're asking them to do, they're on track, right? You don't need to know where that memory is because, as you'll see, we're trying to not activate it. Overactivation is the biggest obstacle to doing Flash well in this approach. So develop the container. Here's an important part to understand the container. You have to get this part. And again, if you're not a metaphorical person, I'll try to break it down more concretely. Imagine this is the memory that we're working on today. This memory is staying in your brain where trauma lives. We're not getting it out. We're not bringing it into working memory. This memory stays in the working memory. Do you know what we're doing though? We're looking at it really, really quickly, and a little bitty tiny piece of it is coming into awareness. Okay? So a father going, or his face, or you're there, and your mom's looking at your father, that scene or that feeling or that the little bit of fear or whatever it is that comes, gets moved away from us or gets put in a container and gets sent away. The memory is not in your container. The memory stays in your brain, a little piece of the memory at a time. A bean of this bean bag. I'm going to keep everyone muted. The memory stays in your brain where trauma is. A little piece of it comes into working memory, and that's what gets contained or that's what gets sent away. So there's no point where I'm containing the memory as a whole. I don't want to touch the memory as a whole. Does that make sense? The memory as a whole contains maybe 15 horrible aspects of it. I'm only touching a tiny piece at a time. And I want you all to practice microactivation with me so that you can see what I mean. Okay? It looks like everybody here is in a room. That room has a door. And there's no trauma. This is not a practice with trauma exercise. This is a practice with a metaphorical door. Zoom's going to raise your hand if you do this, but I invite you to copy me. Okay, can you copy me? And I want you to open and close that door so quickly that there's only okay, look, that's a good try, but zombies are going to walk right through that door. Now do it again, but do it 100 times faster. Okay, good. That's better. Can you try it again even faster? Okay, so who here is at a desk? Does your desk have a drawer? Can you open and close that drawer so quickly that you only see one thing? Try it. Did you see a whole bunch of things? If you saw a bunch of things, do it again, but do it 10 times faster. Do you see how hard that is? Do you see how we're trying to get a single bean out of the bean bag and not have it come and just like a huge wave topple you? Does that make sense? Now, what you saw, and it's example, it's not just see, but it's feeling, hearing, smell, whatever it is that came out of that memory. It can even be a thought. Whatever it is that came out of that memory, in the moment you were looking at it, that's what you contain. The whole rest of it stays in your brain where trauma is. That is weird, isn't it? And even the research into working memory assumes, a lot of that research assumes that the memory is either in working memory or not, as though it's like the memory is like a bowling ball that's either in working memory or not. And you see what we've just done? We've challenged that. We've made that memory a beanbag, and we're working one bean of it at a time. My clients can't do that, you may say. My clients can't blah. I work with people with no joke trauma, and they can do this. And I've trained thousands of people who work with no joke trauma, and their clients can do this. 98% of your clients are going to be able to do this. We don't question in chat. I'm going to try to ask you to hold questions that are like related to, we got to teach this first, and then we'll talk about the things. But can this work with grief? I jokingly say there's no crying in Flash. Someone like, oh, well, I would cry. I'm like, oh, there's no crying in Flash. But that's not true, because if grief comes, we cry. But if sadness comes, we are stopping. And we're getting that, whatever sadness, we're going to ground. We're going to like get that. So we're working with this memory only a tiny piece at a time. Okay? Good. And that tiny piece at a time goes into your container, and it goes away from you. Distress in this version of Flash is always moving away from you. We do not push into distress 1,000th of 1 ounce. We do not push into distress. That's vitally important. We're going to keep coming back to it, and you'll be able to see why. If you're like, my clients can't do that, you don't know that. You've never shown them how to do this. You've only shown them other things. Does that make sense? If you haven't tried to show them Flash, you don't know that yet. And when they have difficulty, come to consultation, free consultation that I offer twice a month. I'll help you. Okay? So, step one, we develop this container, which can be as simple as this. And when we teach this, I'm going to talk to you about some modifications for those of you that struggle visualizing. Okay? The other thing we do is, and if you're a somatic practitioner, oh my goodness, you're a somatic practitioner, you may be like, Tom, don't tell me we're about to vacuum distress out of the body. We're about to vacuum distress out of the body. I'm a somatic practitioner too, but distress in the body in Flash from that memory is a problem. And we're going to talk about why. So if you have distress in your body, which even just thinking about the memory might cause distress to show up in your body, we're going to vacuum it out. And now our vacuum canister becomes our container, and it goes away. It's weird, but I'm telling you, if you can get your mind around the weird and lean into it, you'll be able to heal, and your clients will be able to heal for the rest of their lives without distress. It's a big deal. So step one is the container, or the shop vac, or the vacuum cleaner, which is the container for body-based distress. The shop vac is the container for body-based distress from that memory. So do my clients have to be relaxed? No. Their regular 8 out of 10 stress that they bring to session, that's not what we're vacuuming. Do you know what we're vacuuming? We're vacuuming what got worse when you looked at that memory. That's the distress I care about right now, not your baseline, not your allostatic load. It is that I'm worried about. Okay. Step two, develop the calm scene. What do you love? What's some funny things you've seen? What are some of the funniest videos you've seen this year? Put it in chat. I got a big kick at a time. They don't age well, but the AI babies that talk crap about their parents, those were pretty darn funny. Yeah, SNL skits. You can watch clips from The Office. You can watch clips from Parks and Rec. Your favorite show, highlight clips. That can be your calm scene. What's some other stuff that just is going to shift how you feel in the present moment? Rams. Okay. Who are my slipping on ice people? There's some people that in every training, they're like, I like to watch people slip on ice. I'm like, y'all are messed up. But whatever it is, babies laughing, sitcom bloopers, absolutely. Y'all got this. Y'all got this. A lawyer that showed up as a cat. I love it. Manatees, wonderful. Again, anything that shifts your affective state quickly can be your calm scene. Now, those of you that are an EMDR therapist, I need you to hear me here. It's super important. Your calm scene, I do not want it to be imaginary. Why? Because in EMDR, I give you 25 seconds to load up that calm scene. I'm giving you 4 seconds in Flash. That's not enough time. I do not want the calm scene to be imaginary. Oh, but no, you're having to make it 350 times. Why would you tax yourself when you can open your eyeballs and see a beautiful Mediterranean beach on YouTube? Why would you make it? That's just stupid. Don't do that. That's hard. And Flash isn't going to work well. So a third of the questions that people bring to consultation when clients struggle, I'm like, what was the calm scene? They were imagining something. I'm like, I don't, don't. We live in modernity. And then some people say, well, we're trying to help our clients be less dissociative by helping them. Isn't this just promoting the bad? I'm like, I'm in the business of helping people resolve awfulness. We're going to deal long term with the problem with us endlessly dissociating into media, or we're not. But that's not my job. That's not my problem. I'm like trying to help people heal. So let's help people heal. Does it need to be a video? No, you can get up and dance. And I encourage you to. Anybody here love to dance? During the practicum, feel free to be off screen, load up your favorite playlist, and dance. You can dance trauma out of your nervous system. Okay? Do it. Be on camera if you want, but be off camera if you would like to do that with a little bit of anonymity. The calm scene needs to be one of two things. I want it to be like either a video or a song or something you're listening to, right? Or I want it to be an action, like eating your favorite sandwich or petting. And again, this is hard to describe because EMDR therapists are so imaginary calm scene focused. Petting your actual cat with your actual hand in real life right now. Do you see what I mean? Do you see? So I'm not, people hear that and they say, oh, so imagining petting your cat? I'm like, for God's sake, no. Just pet your cat. It's just that, or pet your dog. It's that simple. Does that make sense? So you can love on your actual dog. Ask because I made the mistake of saying, hey, do you want to use your dog? You want to love on your dog? And I'm like, no, I kind of hate him right now. He is mean and he bites my shoes. Okay, no, so we got to make sure. Again, the point of the calm scene is it needs to shift your affective state. It needs to shift how you feel in about 4 seconds of engagement with it. Okay? You can't use reading. You're going to get Anna Karenina, happy families are all the same, blink. That's not going to work, right? We need something more engaging. Okay, excellent. The final resource that we have 4 resources. The final resource is sensory grounding. You ask somebody to look at a memory quickly, sometimes that memory is going to grab them and pull them in. We need sensory grounding. Sensory grounding, I don't know how you do trauma work without grounding. Yeah. Okay, here we go. You're right. The manual says it can be imagined or actual. It can be imagined or actual, yes. But so many problems come when people imagine the calm scene, that I'm asking you as new learners to take an imaginary calm scene off the table. Okay. Now, if your client says, I have to use this imaginary calm scene because it's the only thing in the whole universe that isn't awful, I'm going to let them. Does that make sense? It can work. I just don't want you all to do that because you think it's better and because if you're an EMDR therapist, it's what you're used to. Let YouTube help you out. It's going to go 40% faster at least if you just outsource it to something that your mind isn't creating. Your mind's going to be doing enough. Okay, step 3. Identify. Okay, hold on. We'll answer this question and then it's important. We're staying down here with activation. Remember when I said you do not push into distress? The risk in Flash is that the client activates, and doesn't use any of their resources to get that activation reset. If your client activates, their predictive mind is going to go, all of this is trauma, including the calm scene, and it will make the calm scene, which is one of the only things in the world that doesn't stink, it will make it a trauma trigger. Okay? So if clients do not overly activate, Flash will not make the calm scene a trauma trigger. I promise you. But if you do overactivate, it's likely to. Okay? So if we're in person with the client, how do they engage? Well, if they don't have their pet there, that's not an option. If you have a therapy dog, that is an option. If they like your dog, do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying you have to use a pet. I'm saying that's an option. If you're doing telehealth, then you can use a pet. Does that make sense? So, yeah. All right, here we go. Step 3. This is the challenge because remember when I said we're trying to leave the memory in your brain where trauma is? Do you know what happens if you start giving me a trauma narrative? The whole thing shows up here. Okay. And when the memory shows up here, where else is it? It's all in your body. Does that make sense? And we're trying to work a bean at a time. And you start giving me a trauma narrative, you don't have to say that much of it before we've really, really activated that memory. So strategies, we need to select the memory, but not activate it. Select it, but not activate it. That's difficult, isn't it? Do you know what that means? That sometimes your clients are working on memories and you don't know what it is. And if you're like, oh, I don't like that, maybe you do a little flash around that yourself and your feelings about not liking that. Because what are you going to do? What were you going to do in that session with someone with extreme trauma that's more important than them resolving a memory that they want to be done with? If you're going to do something more important than that, for goodness sakes, don't do flash, do that. Does it make sense? But you don't need to know the details of this trauma because the client giving you those details is going to cause them to activate the heck out of it. Does it make sense? And I don't want them to do that. So what you can do is you can line up targets in a prior session. Okay? You can say, hey, Janet, the memory that you wanted to work on last time, is that the memory you still want to work on today? Good. Do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? Yeah. Okay, good. Push it out of your awareness. Let me know when it's gone. We just blank it out. Look at a blank wall, look at a blank ceiling, blank it out. Let me know when it's gone. You see what we did there? We selected the memory. We did this, but we didn't touch it. And you know how trauma is it's like a bad mousetrap. You go to start to point at it and then it just pulls your finger into it, right? So we have to do this. You know what? We have to do this to kind of really help not activate the memory. So select the memory, but don't activate it much. If the client does activate it, we're going to use sensory grounding to reset them. Okay. Step 4, load up your calm scene, by which I mean press play on YouTube or Spotify or call your dog over and start loving on them. Load up the calm scene. Let me know when you're there. How do you keep them from activating the memory? Don't tell them not to talk about it. Get consent for them not to activate it, to get consent for them to select it but not activate it. Right? Yeah. We don't want them to give us a trauma narrative. Again, step 4, load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. They nod, and they're in their they're in their calm scene. And again, I say calm, it's the wrong adjective, right? Calm, relaxing, funny, distracting, amusing, beautiful, astonishing, silly, whatever. Any of those things work. All of those things are things that we don't typically feel in times of trauma. Okay? Load up that calm scene. Let me know when you're there. You're in this calm scene 30 seconds at a time, roughly. Nothing magical happens at 30 seconds. You're in this calm scene about 30 seconds at a time. Except every 5 seconds, the therapist says the word blink. Okay? Now, imagine I'm your calm scene. Imagine I'm golden retrievers jumping up in fields of hay. Okay? Therapist says blink. You blink your eyes a couple of times. Do you see what happened to me? I went away and now I'm back. Now you have a second exposure to golden retrievers jumping up and down in fields of hay. Now 5 seconds, and now you have another exposure. And then another. So you're in your calm scene about 30 seconds at a time, except the therapist is taking you out of it and giving you a new exposure. This is important. So if you can, try to press record in your mind here. This is important because it's the key to a lot that we're doing. What the blinks do, and I'm going to give you options to blinking in a minute. What the blinks do is they turn a 30-second calm scene into 6 little bitty 5 seconds calm scenes. The blinks turn a single contiguous 30-second calm scene into 6 little bitty tiny calm scenes. Okay? Now, imagine I'm your calm scene. Are y'all looking at me? There's a doorknob in your room. Turn your head, look at it, and then look right back at me. Do you see what you just did? You just did the same thing that we did with a blink. Okay? Now, in a little while, I'm going to have you get a piece of paper and write the numbers from 0 to 9 on that piece of paper. Okay? 0 to 9 randomly. See how I just have them scattered all over the place? Okay? And in this practicum, instead of saying blink, I'm going to say a number. And you look at that number and then go right back into your calm scene. If you're listening to music and your eyes are closed, you open your eyes, you look at that number, and you go right back into your music. Okay, if you're petting a dog, you engage with the dog, you look at that number, you go right back into petting your dog. Okay? So what the blinks do, or what the looking away does, is it disrupts attention on your calm scene, generating a large number of mini calm scenes. And if you're like, wait a minute, and there's maybe one of you here that's is on this with me, you're like, wait a minute. What if we had a YouTube video that was on the screen for 7 seconds and it went away for a second and it came back? Would Flash still work? It does. I have an app that does that. If you want to do that, I'll give you the link to it in a little while. You can do self-administered Flash later. So Do you see what we're at here? We bring a tiny piece of the memory into working memory, push it out of awareness, and then you have a back to back to back to back to back to back experience across a 30-second window that in which you're having the experience that that little piece of the memory isn't happening right here, right now, because a different experience is happening. What's happening? Puppies, kittens, right? Your favorite pizza. Here you go. Your favorite pizza coming out of the oven, a stone oven, right? And again, apologies for those who have difficulties with food, but for some people, oh my goodness, what a powerful calm scene. Whatever it is you love, whether it's a sandwich or a certain type of dog or laughing babies or whatever. And I have clients that are like, Tom, I hate people. And I'm like, I know you hate people. What is it that you don't mind? I don't mind golden retrievers. Okay. How about we find golden retrievers on YouTube, playing, jumping up and down in fields of hay? Right? Good. Now, we're in our calm scene doing these blinks to get this like machine going, right? We're getting this calm scene with blinks going. And then after we do that a few rounds, first time you're in step 4, I want you to repeat it. Have you ever done a mindful exercise that just took you a while to get into it? Yeah, first time you're in step 4, I want you to do calm scene with blinks or calm scene with numbers a couple of times at least, just to make sure that this active ingredient. Step 4 is where all healing happens in this version of Flash. Step 4 is where all of the healing happens. I want to make sure it's working well. Okay. And then you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at that memory very, very fast. And the language for that is lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far away. So with your hands, I'm going to have y'all do that when we do it. We're going to send it away. Okay. And you know what we do? We go back to step 4, calm scene. So this step 5 is the first time we're actually activating the memory. Because remember, we went out of our way not to activate it when we selected it in step 3. Now we're actually on purpose looking at it and getting a tiny piece of distress out. Now, how do you manage distress in Flash? If you do this really quickly and a London street bus comes out and it feels like it's sitting on your chest, your client overactivated. Do you know what that means? That means we're going to ground, we're going to reset them, we're going to stop, and we're not going forward until that big wave of activation is moving away from you. Okay? And then we're going to do our calm scene with blinks. And you know what I'm going to do? Next time, I'm going to have you look at that memory 100 times faster. And if you can't do that, if I keep saying, look at it faster and you keep overactivating, that memory is too big for today. That memory doesn't want to be microactivated today. And we need to appreciate that some memories, remember, those of you that are old enough to remember this may appreciate it. Trauma comes into the room like Kramer. Remember from Seinfeld, when Kramer comes into the room, he explodes into the room. And it's almost like he's as shocked as you are that he's there. He's just like, it just blows up. So if that keeps happening, we have to stop and we have to find a memory that you can microactivate today. Does that make sense? We're going to stop. We're going to ground. We're going to not go forward. If this keeps happening, Kramer keeps popping in, right, every time. So we're in this loop of step 5, step 4, step 5, step 4. Lightly activate, contain, calm, scene, blinks. Lightly activate, contain, calm, scene, blinks. We do this for how long? Until you're noticing it's taking longer and longer for the client to find what's distressing. So when you first start, you're going to say lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing, catch it, contain it. The client's already doing this. They've already found it and are already sending it away. After about 15 or 20 minutes, You're going to say lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far away, and your client goes, do you know what that means? That means it took you about 7 seconds to find what's I'm paying attention to that. And when it's starting to take you longer and longer, and we're getting to about 10 seconds before you can't find what's distressing in it quickly, I'm going to say, hey, when you're having trouble finding what's distressing, let me know. And when they tell you that they're having trouble, because at first you open the door to the memory and stuff just flies out at you. After a little bit of time, you got to stand in the doorway and look around, right? And after a little bit of time, we're going to need to go to the next step and walk into the room and like look under the cushions and look behind the couch. We don't want to leave debris in the memory. That is the difference between this memory staying at a distress of 2 out of 10 and fully adaptively resolving, with shifts in your belief system and generalization happening. Okay, so when it's taking longer and longer for the client to find what's distressing in the memory, then we go to step 6, where I say, play the memory from the very first frame and let me know with one hand when you find the first little bitty piece of distress. And we're going to immediately contain it with the other. Okay, so identifying the distress and containing it are part of the same motion. So one of the things that's non-intuitive about, I want to go back and review this because this really can't be stressed enough. How do you do trauma? How do you do trauma? You don't do it this way, do you? You don't open and immediately close. Do you know what we do? It's like we throw the barn door open and we just let stuff trample us, don't we? I mean, isn't that what rumination is? We just like, and then this, and then that, and then the time they that, and I can't believe they that, and then, oh my gosh, and then my dad said blah, and right? So in Flash, engaging with the memory is always associated with a closing. Does it make sense? We never close. We never open and then close, do we? When we're doing our own kind of trauma rumination stuff. So the two things we have to get down is that opening the memory is always associated with an immediate closing the moment you find the first piece of distress. So opening and closing are part of the same motion. Okay? And then what comes out is always associated with this. The distress that comes out of that memory is always moving away from you. And we're going to talk about why, from a predictive mind, the distress in that memory needs to be moving away from you. That is profoundly not what we typically do when we interact with trauma. Okay, so now we're at the point where we're playing the memory from the very first frame. And as soon as I see my client's hand going up, I say, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. Let me know when it's gone. Okay, and then guess what we do? Every time we identify distress, we send it away. And every time we send it away, we always go back to our calm scene with blinks. Our calm scene with blinks is our active step. Every time we activate, we go to calm scene with blinks to process it. We just found a piece of activation, we send it away. Load up your calm scene, let me know when you're there. You're there, 5, 3, 2, 6, 9. And you're just looking at those numbers 5 seconds apart. Or I'm saying blink every 5 seconds. Blink, 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 blink. How did that go? Good. Okay. That takes 30 seconds. I compressed it down to 5. Okay. How did that go? Good. Then I go back and I say, that piece of distress that you just had in that memory, is there any distress in it in this moment? In that piece of the memory, is there any distress in it in this moment? Yes, a little bit. Catch that little bit, contain it, send it far away, let me know when it's gone. Okay, good. It's gone. Calm scene. 5, 9, 3, 2, 6. Good. How did that go? Good. Yeah, that piece of the memory that just had distress in it, is there any distress in it in this moment? No. Play the memory forward. Let from that point, play the memory forward and let me know the first piece of distress you find. Got it. Good. Catch it, contain it, send it far away. Let me know when it's gone. It's gone? Good. Load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. They indicate that they're there. Blink, 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 or numbers, or doorknob, or do whatever you do to disrupt the calm scene. And then you go back to that piece that just had the stress in it. You see, what we're doing in the step 4, step 5 loop is we're decreasing these mountaintops of distress. And now we're looking for any debris that's left over, and we're just going to flatten it. Okay? We're going to make it a 0. Okay? Sensible? And then we do this until you get to the end of the memory. And you get to the end of the memory, you're not done. Do you know why? We got to go back and play it again. Because you're not done until you play it from beginning to end and there's no distress on any channel. When you can play that memory in this way and there's no distress on any channel, that memory's done. Flashbacks stop. Beliefs about yourself. This is mind-blowing if you're trained in like other approaches. Beliefs, a positive belief about yourself. When you can play that memory from beginning to end. When you play the memory from beginning to end and there's no distress. You play it frame by frame, beginning to end, and there's no distress. When you do that, your client will tell you, when you ask them, that there is a more positive belief that they believe about themselves, and they believe it very strongly. Why? If you're like, wait a minute, where's EMDR step 5? Where's installation? You just did it. Walking through the memory and clearing out any debris on any channel is the equivalent of phase 5 and 6 in EMDR therapy. And the positive belief will already be there. Why? It's not that EMDR does it. It's not that Flash does it. Healing does that. Healing shifts how you think about yourself and the world every time. Full permanent healing shifts how you think about yourself and the world related to that little bitty memory for the rest of your life. Okay, sensible? So, of course, if Flash is healing you, if that memory is fully resolving, we don't ask for the negative belief. You don't need to. You don't need to. It happens. Beliefs shift as a byproduct of healing in this way. Same thing in EMDR. We're spending almost no time in EMDR actually scrutinizing any of your beliefs. The shifts in belief happen as a byproduct of noticing in EMDR. The shifts in belief happen as a byproduct of healing in Flash. They both get you there. The journeys are not identical. Okay? Good. I've just walked through the kind of basic 6 steps. We're going to talk about the 7th step in a little while. What logistics questions do you have? You may notice there's no SUDS. Subjective units of disturbance. There's no SUDS in this version of Flash. Why? You don't need it. Why do you need to know how much distress remains in the memory? If you have a whole session, your client's likely to resolve whatever they target almost all of the time. Does it make sense? So, Virginia.
So are you going to do an example where you talk to us about like loading this with a client, like how we introduce it and go through it when you
Yeah.
do the practicum part?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is so non-intuitive. This is so non-intuitive. Clients have to do that non-intuitive thing. We have to show them microactivation. We have to practice sending it away. That's why we're going to start with really, really small memories. We're going to start with things that, and again, in every training I do, I say, does anybody here buy a brand new car and take it to the interstate to see how fast it can possibly go with 4 miles on it? And there's one or two people that's like, that's me. And then I say, do you do that with your client driving? Don't do that with your client driving. We need to go around with clients. Clients have to be able to drive this thing and drive it well. And before we merge onto an LA freeway, I want to make sure you know how to do what I'm asking you to do well. Make sense? So we're going to putz around a parking lot. We're going to putz around a city street. There's 6 demos on the Four Blinks website, FOURBLINKS website. One of them is using a baby, a new, like a little baby with cheeks the size of oranges as her calm scene. The other's using a kitten. One's using, a couple are using videos. One's using, yeah. So you can see quite a diversity of people practicing this version of Flash on the Four Blinks website. Children, I'm telling you, when Flash catches on, there's hardly going to be another way of doing trauma work because Flash makes doing trauma work way more fun than playing Uno. And every trauma training you've ever been to says you have to make this work fun. If you work with kids, Flash literally makes this work fun. Clients are going to come to session asking if they can do Flash because they're watching their favorite YouTuber play their favorite piece of video game. And you're like, how am I going to write that up? You're watching a 7-year-old heal themselves from things that a 7-year-old shouldn't have to heal themselves. You write up Uno as a pro-social blah, blah, blah activity. You can figure out how to write up trauma healing. It's going to be okay. I can help you with that. Questions about the mechanics of this first. We're going to get into what is happening in our brains and why this thing that sounds so weird actually makes so much freaking sense. It's mind-blowing. I'm not practicing with a neutral memory. I'm practicing with something that's more frustrating than trauma. Anybody here live with a knucklehead? Anybody live with a teen? Do you love them? And are there some mornings where you totally see how your hands might fit right around their neck? Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of thing we're working on. Does that make sense? Where there's like that, oh, you know what I mean? But yet also we're going to be okay. Right? So, yeah, start there. Because, and by the way, think about it. This is so non intuitive. Have you ever taught a little kid how to catch? Do you know what you have to do? You have to show them how to cup their hands. You have to back up a little bit and you have to toss the ball into their hand. Does it make sense? And then you have to show them how to do this, right? And then they back up and then they catch it like this. And then you have them make a hand like this or like this and they catch, right? And then you give them a glove. Does that make sense? So we have to really like build this because the big traumas are like a college baseball player throwing a ball at you 80 miles an hour. You got to be quick and then be prepared to send it away. So we practice with small stuff first. Clients have memory recall issues generally for reasons. And in Flash, I'm starting where you have memory. That's really good guidance. I don't care what kind of trauma work you're doing. Start with what you have. People are like, what about my client remembers nothing before 17? I'm like, they're 49. They remember 48. Start processing at 48 years old. Does it make sense? Preverbal trauma is differential calculus. We're talking about remedial math right now. We're going to get there, but that's not that's not where we're starting ever. It's not where I'm starting ever. Flash resolves. Once you've done 4 or 5 sessions and your client knows how to do this automatically, you can do attachment wounds in Flash. I've seen it thousands of times. You can process attachment wounds with the same ease as any other trauma in Flash. I'm telling you, you can do it. And if you're not, if you struggle with it, come to one of I do 25 free consultations a year. Every other week, there's a free consultation in Flash. It's going to be okay. Let me put it this way. I can't think of any issues with seizure disorders because all I'm asking you to do is look at a YouTube video and then find a number and look right back at a YouTube video. I'm not even asking you to blink rapidly. I'm not doing anything that might trigger a seizure. We're making sure that your YouTube video are the kind of YouTube videos you watch all the time anyway. Does it make sense? So, yeah. So clients that have physical symptoms, you mean physical symptoms like what? You mean like they have activation that shows up in their body from that memory? Well, we have the vacuum resource for that. Physical symptoms like, I'm not sure what that means, but yeah. So, okay. What is going on here? What in the world is going on here? And I know you came for an intervention, and I'm about to give you a new theory of mind. Right? So, all right, most of us, page 5, most of us, really quickly in chat, I'm going to ask you to stop asking specific case questions because I don't have the willpower not to answer them. Okay. So I'm worried about benzos and I'm worried about marijuana use in EMDR. Flash is not EMDR. I'm not telling you to go home and smoke, but I'm telling you the biggest battle in Flash is overactivation. And if my client is like, what's the word? Sober, my client is not like impaired, I'm going to do Flash with them. Flash does not require activation. So again, Flash is not EMDR. I don't worry about the same things in Flash that I worry about in EMDR. Okay? I'm not saying I do Flash with drunk people. I'm just saying because a thing is a problem in EMDR does not make it a problem in Flash. The mechanisms are very, very different. The actual process and the mechanism are different. Okay. Most people here, I would argue almost everybody, has been trained in triune brain. Triune brain, limbic brain, brainstem, neocortex. Sound familiar? 3 different brains largely competing for control over your mood, over your state, over your perception. Well, right here, right now, over your thoughts, over your everything. That version of the mind was developed by a guy born in 1913. That version of the mind was developed in the 1950s and 1960s, which is nearly a generation older than I am, and I have gray hair. Okay? That version of the mind was built on a model of vertebrate evolution that we now know for sure, and for 30 years we've known for sure is not true. Okay? So it's a model based on vertebrate evolution that reaches a lot of its conclusions from cross-species comparisons that we now know for sure is not true. You don't have 3 minds competing for control. In newer understandings of what a brain is across many fields of neurobiology, you have a mind that is always on. It is always on, and every part of it is connected and communicating with every other part of it all the time until you die. Okay. So that's very different than triune brain. Now, the model of the mind that is becoming the organizing metaphor across many branches of neuroscience is the adaptive mind or the predictive mind. And I want to give a little example of what a predictive mind looks like because it's very different than what we're used to thinking that a mind is. Okay, so we have a model in our heads of everything built from every experience we've ever had in our whole lives. That's how we acquire language. That's how being here makes sense. What if an hour and 12 minutes ago, there was a problem with the link, the Zoom link, and you thought you were coming to a Taco Bell manager's meeting because you're a Taco Bell manager, not a therapist. Can you imagine how weird this would be? How just really weird. So your ability to understand anything I'm saying comes from the fact that in your mind you have therapists, you have training, you have EMDR, you have Zoom as a construct, you have Flash, this Flash thing that you're coming to learn. You understand what trauma is and how it sits in nervous systems. As a therapist is a construct. So everything that I'm saying, if it makes any sense at all, it's making sense because our models of the world share certain things. Does that make sense? So we have a model of ourselves in the world built from everything we've ever been through. Now, what your brain does, and we know this because of our ability to map networks in the brain, to map communication in the brain, and also to see the direction of flow of information. Because sometimes you can see a highway, but you don't know which way things are going on that highway. In the last 20 years, especially in the last 15, what a brain looks like is organized like this. Okay? You have a model of everything you've ever been through. From that model, your brain makes a large number of guesses or predictions about what it thinks you're about to experience next. Okay? Does that part make sense? Your brain's making up to hundreds of thousands of guesses a second about what it thinks you're about to sense. Okay? Those perception begins with prediction. Those predictions flow down toward the sensory regions of your brain, where incoming sensory information is compared with those predictions. And when there's a mismatch, prediction error is returned. Error signals are what goes deep into your brain, not anything else. So error signals are sent deep into your brain. And with those error signals, your brain has to do one of two things. It either issues revised predictions or it updates that little piece of the model that you have of yourself in the world based on the sensory prediction error. Do you see where this is going? Your brain makes predictions not just about what it's sensing in the outside world, it makes predictions about what it's sensing internally. What your thoughts, what your imaginations are happening right here, right now. Anything that comes into awareness, your brain has to make predictions about. Okay? So what we have here in a predictive mind is we have a model, we have predictions, and we have prediction error when the prediction error doesn't match sensory input. Okay? The part of it that we haven't talked about is called precision weighting. And it's not waiting as in you need to wait till 5 o'clock. It's waiting as in where is your brain attaching weight or focus? Where is it attaching its unconscious version of attention in this moment. Whereas your brain largely in this huge model of the world, in this huge flow of prediction, in this huge flow of sensory information coming into the sensory regions of your brain, and in this huge flow of prediction error, what predictions is your brain giving attention to, and which is it largely discounting? That's what precision weighting is. It's where is your brain putting attention to make the decision that's really best for you right here, right now. Okay. And what do we know about trauma related to precision weighting? Trauma, and again, this is a little bit mind blowing. Trauma is just learning, but it's learning that dramatically shifts precision weighting. Again, your brain's largely unconscious version of attention toward itself. When you get near trauma, precision weighting pulls you out of so many other things, and it gets stuck on the trauma itself. Does it make sense? Now, what's the problem with that? The problem with that is your predictive mind. When you get near trauma, your predictive mind is also generating your emotions. And if what you have in your mind is a trauma haunted model of your world, how horrible must many of your predictions be? Does that make sense? And when you're having the emotions, because your brain is in a black box, it doesn't know, it doesn't distinguish. One of the last tricks of the predictive mind is distinguishing stuff happening externally and stuff happening internally. Your mind doesn't know, it doesn't care, it's just trying to construct reality based on sensory information and its best guesses. And if your best guesses are pulling from a trauma haunted world, many of your predictions are going to be awful, aren't they? About what might be about to happen right here, right now. And the thing with trauma work is that when you get near trauma, it pulls you into it. And in this model, the only thing that can update that little piece of the world is prediction error based on disconfirming sensory information. Otherwise, we're just activating trauma and having confirmation. The brain does not update with confirmation. The brain only updates across prediction error. So how do we tie all of this into Flash? We look at a memory very, very quickly. We bring a tiny piece of the memory into working memory. Do you know what a tiny piece of a memory is? It's not that terribly important. In the billions of things your mind has in its generative model, a little bitty tiny micro piece of something is not that important. And it's a little bit ambiguous, isn't it? You think really quickly about a bad memory. Parts of you are kind of like, I don't know what to do with this. Do you know what I mean? So you bring a tiny piece of the memory into working memory and you push it out of awareness. Isn't that weird? Because we're used to staring at whatever we activate or noticing whatever we activate. You bring a tiny piece of the memory into working memory, you push it out of your awareness. Don't worry, your brain has to make predictions about it. Do you know why? Because you just brought it into working memory. You pushed it out of awareness, but you just brought it into working memory. And it's going to be in working memory for a little while, and your brain's going to need to make predictions about it. And you know, the prediction I want it to make is that it's not happening right here, right now. It's over. So for a brain, for a predictive mind to update a memory as over, it needs to have the experience of it being over. In order for a predictive mind to make and update a memory as over, it needs to have an experience of it being over. And your brain is about to have an experience that that little piece of the memory that you brought into working memory isn't happening right here, right now. Do you know why? Because it's not happening in your affective state. It's not happening in your sensory state. You're seeing puppies, you're seeing pizza, you're loving on your dog, you're listening to your dance music or whatever it is. Does that make sense? And then your brain updates that little bitty tiny piece of the memory. A little bitty tiny piece of the memory is very easy to change in a predictive mind if you give it the right type of sensory disconfirmation. By the way, we heal across prediction error. And even if you don't go on to use Flash, I hope you keep this part of it. We heal always across prediction error. The most explicit example of this is you don't have a baseball bat in your office where you beat your clients when they come in. Why? Right? Because you're trying to hold them and their nervous systems in a way that's disconfirming of the expectations in the bad memory. The way we are relationally is disconfirming, which is prediction error. Does it make sense? EMDR therapy. The difficult information in EMDR therapy, yeah, we're noticing all kind of stuff that's congruent, but you know what we're also doing? We're also doing very regular check-ins. We're also doing this bilateral, which if it's doing nothing else, it's giving you here, 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 keeping you here, because right here, right now in 2026 is the only sensory disconfirmation we have access to. Does it make sense? Yeah, so your belly's feeling this, but you're feeling it in a room made of drywall with fluorescent lighting with a therapist looking at you and attending to you. Does that make sense? Prediction error. And when the difficult stuff starts to connect with adaptive information, which is the core of EMDR's AIP model, do you know what that is? That's prediction error. In EMDR therapy, the difficult stuff must have existing adaptive stuff to connect with. Difficult stuff connecting with adaptive stuff is prediction error. That's how we heal in EMDR therapy. Those of you that do parts work is relational work, where parts of you have relational experiences with other parts of you that are different than the learning in the trauma. Parts work is prediction error. It generates prediction error. It generates experiences that can be pretty profoundly healing in and of themselves. Psychedelics in a therapeutic context, those of you that do psychedelic psychotherapies, whether they lower defenses or whether they allow you to interact with that memory in a way that's different than how you normally do, you are interacting with that memory in a way that's different than how you normally do. That generates prediction error. The psychedelics help change the perspective with which you're interacting with that memory, which is letting you have an experience of it being over. Okay, EMDR 2.0. Who's here familiar with EMDR 2.0? EMDR 2.0, I got to be careful because, man, taxing working memory is the biggest, hottest theory in EMDR right now. And you don't need taxing working memory to explain EMDR 2.0. Do you know what they're doing in EMDR 2.0? They're activating the heck out of you, and they're distracting you from that activation. They're having you jump left, jump right, add 3, divide by 2, they're having you do all this stuff. And you know what that's doing? It's shifting your affective state. When you watch people do EMDR 2.0, they're laughing, they're distracted, they're confused by the task you're asking them to do. Do you know what that's doing? That's disrupting the predicted affective sequela. The disruptions disrupt the predictions. It creates prediction error. I'm expecting to be filled with shame, but I'm actually laughing because I'm doing all these things to distract myself from it. That is very therapeutically focused prediction error. So here's my point. Our brains seem to work on model, prediction error, and precision weighting. And it does this not just with learning, not just with trauma. It's how we acquire language, right? It's how we do smooth motor movements, our capacity to have smooth motor movements and navigate efficiently through the world. Our brain uses model, prediction, prediction error, and weighting to construct every single thing that we've looked at that a brain does. Sequela is just what comes after. Sequela means what comes after. We're disrupting the predicted response. We're disrupting what comes after that activation, what the expectation is after that activation. Okay? So the sequela of eating too much Mexican food is multiple unpleasant things. Okay? Makes sense? So, um, my point is that model prediction, prediction error, precision weighting is how your brain regulates sodium. It's how your body and nervous system regulates body temperature. Almost everything everywhere we look. So my point is that what a brain is this. It's not the brain that we always thought we had. The brain we always thought we had is we look at the world and shapes go deeper, deeper, deeper into our brain. And then at the very top of our brain, a scene with meaning emerges. That is not what happens in our brain. Deep in your brain is a prediction machine, issuing a massive stream of predictions about what you're about to expect. And when it guesses wrong, prediction error is returned. And prediction error is something that we can shape by asking what I have you attend to. All of the transformational psychotherapies, and by transformational psychotherapies, I mean psychotherapies that might resolve a memory in a session or two. All of them differ in these two ways related to the predictive mind. They differ in what part of your generative model of yourself and the world we activate and how we do it. That's the first difference. The other difference is what are we asking you to give your right now attention to? That's it, right? Every psychotherapy, whether it's brain spotting, whether it's EMDR, whether it's any other transformational psychotherapy, what are we activating and how are we doing it? And where are we asking you to attach your right now attention in response to that activation? And Flash is just a really explicit way to directly work. It's at least this version of Flash. Other versions of Flash aren't built around this model. This version of Flash is explicitly built around a predictive mind. Okay. And by the way, here's my point, and then we'll talk a little bit more about other things. Here's my point. If that's the mind we have, we don't actually have a triune. By the way, this is good news. Do you know why it's good news? Because if we have a 150 million year old limbic brain running 150 million year old software, we're screwed. Does that make sense? You see what I'm getting at there? This mind that we actually have is always on. It's always changing. It's been changing every moment you've been alive, and it's going to change every moment until you die. Okay? That's the brain we have. There's absolutely no doubt that your mind can update. It's just the trauma parts of it are sticky. And to update them, we have to have you have a disconfirming present-based experience that generates the right type of prediction error. Okay, so what does Flash do? It brings a little bitty tiny piece of the memory into working memory, push it out of awareness, and then you have back-to-back experiences that demonstrate to your predictive mind that it's not happening right here, right now. And then your predictive mind can update that little bitty, not the whole memory, that little bitty piece of the memory as over, because you've had redundant back-to-back experiences of it being over. And remember, your brain isn't going to mark and experience it as over until you've had the experience of it being over. And every time you activate it, you have the same crappy experience, emotion, feeling, affect, you're back there. That is never going to update your mind. Even exposure therapies don't begin to be transformational until your experience of that exposure is different than the predicted experience of it. Now, Bruce Acker, so this is the top level in. So, by the way, if this is the mind we have, if this is the mind we have, I don't know, maybe we do therapy for that mind. Maybe we organize our interventions to match the mind we actually have rather than some 150 million year old stuck thing. You know what I mean? Back when the only source of heat was the sun. You know what I mean? Like maybe, I don't know. I mean, so Bruce Ecker comes at it from a different layer of abstraction. What Bruce Ecker did is he looked at what was transformational in individual sessions. So what is it in therapy when clients have eureka moments and they really update something? What did they do? And what Bruce Ecker found, and he also looked at memory reconsolidation research, which is different than a lot of this cognitive research. Memory reconsolidation lab research. And what Bruce Ecker says, and again, I think he's right. It's a good time to be Bruce Ecker. It's just Bruce Ecker is constrained by his own limitations because Bruce Ecker is stuck in coherence therapy. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But what Bruce Ecker says is, if you want to update a piece of really stuck learning, you need to activate a piece of it and immediately have the client sit with an experience that disconfirms the expectation in it. I'm going to say that 3 or 4 different ways. In order to heal, you need to activate something and then immediately have the client sit with an experience that disconfirms the schema in the bad memory. Do you know what that is? That's prediction error. Okay. So I don't like quoting van der Kolk. I'm trying not to, but the most quoted line in The Body Keeps the Score is that in order to heal, we need to have experiences that deeply and viscerally contradict the helplessness, rage, collapse generated by the trauma. We need to have experiences that contradict prediction error, the helplessness, rage, collapse predicted by the trauma. Flash does that explicitly and easily and all day long. Flash makes the resolution of individual memories no longer a difficult clinical task, even for people with complex trauma, for about 98% of your clients. Okay, we're going to talk about who Flash does not work for in a little while, but for the vast majority of your clients, Flash is, I don't know, it just makes the resolution of individual memories no longer a difficult clinical task. The hardest part in teaching Flash is there's not enough distress in it for therapists to believe it's real. Because we believed Freud and Breuer when they told us you have to go to therapy and have a specific type of catharsis, verbally initiated catharsis related to this experience. And if you're an EMDR therapist, you know that's not true. But also, if you're an EMDR therapist, maybe part of you needs to see your client suffer to a certain amount so that you can believe this is real. And if that's true, I'm just going to invite you as calmly and compassionately as I can to check yourself. Because carrying complex trauma is an awful, awful human task. Healing from it, if it doesn't have to be, shouldn't be disastrous. If there's a way to heal from complex trauma that doesn't almost kill you, maybe you don't want to work that way. That's fine. But I refuse to accept the idea that that's not good. You know what I mean? If we can heal, and especially for the Western ethos, if Flash were fast food, it'd be right next to Taco Bell. I mean, it's like that accessible. We're literally using YouTube to update your mind. We're using YouTube to update a little bitty tiny piece of experience, and then the next piece, and then the next piece, and then the next piece. What questions do you have about, not about clients, not about the individual steps, but what questions do you have about this version of the mind? I know you probably came for a technique and I gave you a worldview. If you're interested in this, David Archer and I are doing a predictive processing book club that is free. You're welcome to join the book club. We're reading Andy Clark's again, The Experience Machine. We read this book a few months ago, but it was such a great experience. We're redoing it again so that more people can join. So David Archer and I are doing a free book club. The book club is, come on now. There we go. The book club's right there. Yeah. Click on the link and you're welcome to join. Sign up for the one we're doing in April. You can join the book club, but if you don't sign up for the actual meetings, it's not going to send you the invite for the meeting. So join the book club and then sign up for the meetings that we're doing. Questions. What questions do you have? Can you under access? Yes. So imagine Flash is like touching a hot skillet with a wet finger. Do you know what you can do? You can put your finger in your pocket and this isn't going to work. You can hold your finger on the hot skillet and you're going to get burned. So yes, you can under access, absolutely. Yeah. Demonstrations are on forblinks.com. I'm putting it in chat. All of you are about to do this in 25 minutes. You're going to do it. Good. I don't really worry about under accessing. Our problem is not under accessing in Flash. Our problem is over accessing in Flash. That's the battle. That's the battle you're going to endlessly. Okay, yeah, give me a second. And again, I'm putting this in chat not for you to do this right now, but for you to say save it. For those of you that want to do that the video blinks for you, I'm putting that in chat, but don't do that now. Don't do that now, but it'll let you change the video to a different video. It'll let you set the length of the blink and all of that. So that'll let you do that. Yes, you can unmute and ask your question, Jennifer.
Hi. I'm wondering how exact this prediction error has to be in terms of matching up with
Yeah.
Okay, with the memory. So when we're talking about EMDR, we're bringing cognitive interweaves in, or maybe we're bringing in certain resources that go against, right? They're held in juxtaposition. Kind of, we're talking about like memory reconsolidation,
Yeah.
coherent therapy, and things like that.
Yeah.
How exact does it need to be? If I'm working on a memory where I am unlovable, do I need to have that resource of I am lovable kind
Yeah.
of there available as a matchup? Or as you said, can we do a silly video when we're working on a memory of I'm in danger, which really isn't necessarily a juxtaposition exactly, but it is kind of.
Yes. So the question is, remember how I said all of these theory speaks depending on what you're activating in your generative model. You're right. Bruce Ecker spends a lot of time developing the exact disconfirmation. Do you know what Bruce Ecker is trying to process? He's trying to process a whole belief about yourself all at once. Do you know what you need to update a whole belief about yourself? You need an extremely precise disconfirmation. You know what I'm trying to update? I'm trying to update a single micro slice of a single memory that happened at a particular time in 1977. So what Bruce Ecker is trying to update is way different than what I'm trying to update. And I see clients process childhood sexual abuse using pizzas all the time or using puppies all the time. It doesn't have to be about safety. It needs to be a general mismatch of the predictive affective state of what your brain is predicting you're about to feel. It needs to be that. The key that you need to get into the Bank of America vaults in New York City is what Bruce Ecker needs, is not the same key that I need to get into a moped in Cleveland. Does that make sense? Because what I'm trying to move is radically different. Bruce Ecker's trying to change cognitive structures in single sessions. I'm trying to change a little bitty tiny piece, and then the next tiny piece, and then the next tiny piece, and then the next tiny piece. And then clean out any debris that remains. Okay. So I think all of psychotherapies that are transformational, we can think of them as what are you trying to activate and what am I asking you to attend to? And trauma, across all psychotherapies, we know this, trauma isn't meant to be updated easily. Trauma, you have to give the right type of sensory disconfirmation compatible with what you're trying to move. Yeah, Vani.
Hi. Question about like if you are not able to finish processing that whole memory in one session, is it okay to go back in terms
Yeah.
of where do you start? Do you start where you left off? Do you go,
Mm-hmm.
with no suds, sometimes that can be like, hey, where are we even going with this, right?
Well, the memory resolved or it didn't. And if the memory didn't resolve, we're going to return to it and resolve it. Does that make sense? So I don't, yeah, again, in this version of Flash, there's no need for SUDS. Do you know why? Do you know what the SUDS is? Always in EMDR therapy, it's an activation strategy. The SUDS is, can you hold this, what's left of this memory in your hand, feel how crappy it is, and weigh it? I don't want to do that. I'm trying to leave the memory in your brain and only access a tiny bit of it at a time. Yeah. Yes. I think the predictive mind explains how we heal, how we learn, how we update. And if what we're right about it, this has to shape pedagogy. This has to shape everything. If this is what a mind is, we need to figure out how to use that information for every single thing that we, yeah. Again, yeah, we'll talk about reevaluation a little bit later. Let's go to let's teach our resources so that y'all can practice this. But before we do that, darn it, page 7. How do I incorporate Flash as an EMDR therapist? I start with Flash first because I work pretty exclusively with really traumatized people. I start with Flash first. Why? Because unless you have DID, I'm probably going to be doing Flash with you second, third, or fourth session. And 95% of the time, whatever we target, you're going to resolve. Okay? Do you know what that means? We're actually treating the presenting issue right out of the gate. Do you know what that means? I'm having a client get stable sooner. Do you know why? Because you know where I'm starting? I'm starting with the things that are contributing to current instability. Okay, so, and then once you have a little bit more stable client, which Flash helps you do, it's able to resource them more deeply. Maybe we can really do some attachment resources that we may need in EMDR therapy. And then those of you that are like, wait a minute, if Flash is so amazing, why do we need to do EMDR therapy? I didn't say you had to. I'm just saying EMDR is a cool way to heal. People, and again, EMDR therapy, I'm an EMDR trainer. I love it. It's my identity. Don't tell me that every single client is an EMDR client. That is a direct, I have so much evidence that contradicts that. That's ridiculous. Because to do EMDR therapy, you have to be able to be present. You have to be able to notice. You have to slow down, be present. You have to have a window of tolerance. You have to have a big fund of adaptive information. It's gaslighty to tell me that every client's an EMDR therapist, EMDR client the moment you first meet them. That's ridiculous. We can build toward that, but that's up here. And if we try to do this, Shapiro says EMDR might send your clients right off a cliff, and she's not joking. It's an intense therapy that requires careful preparation for people with complex trauma. Flash is down here, and we're resolving memories. right? So again, how I incorporate Flash as an EMDR therapist, if I have a client that's not stable, I'm using Flash to help promote more current stability. When to use Flash, when to use EMDR. If you're, I don't care. Who's here does parts work? If your client comes to the session and they're like, hey, Rachel, can we do parts work today? You're not, oh man, I was hoping we do. No, we're like, great, let's do that. It's going to be great. Let's do parts work today. You don't care. These tools sit on your toolbox. Sometimes you use one, sometimes you use another. Sometimes my client says, Tom, I got to see my mom tonight. Let's don't do EMDR. I don't want to be feeling a certain way. Do you know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Any competition that these different approaches have is our shadow puppetry of them. Does that make sense? And we don't have to do that. Flash sits on your toolbox and it's okay there. EMDR sits on your toolbox. Parts work can sit on your toolbox. Whatever other amazing stuff you do, let it sit on your toolbox. This is better or this, that's ridiculous. They don't do that. That's our shadow puppetry with them. And I don't have patience for that. Not when the world is filled with trauma and people need to heal. Yeah, I love EMDR too. But EMDR has an admission cost. There's a privilege in having enough adaptive information. And this is the mic drop. I'm telling you, keep coming back. This is the mic drop. Flash resolves memories when you believe everything that happened to you is your fault. You can have no adaptive information and Flash is still going to work if you're having a pleasant experience in your calm scene. If you can microactivate and you can have a pleasant experience in your calm scene, Flash is likely to get you there. In the complete absence of adaptive information, the way we think of it in EMDR therapy. And again, maybe you don't like to work in Flash. That's okay. But man, don't tell me this isn't good. Don't tell me there's a way to process trauma with virtually no distress and with nearly minimal risk of abreaction or decompensation after session. Don't tell me that's not good. That is a gift of the predictive mind. Step 1, page 9, developing and using the container. We're going to develop an imaginary container. Those of you that struggle imagining things, don't do this. I'm going to have an accommodation in just for a moment where you're going to be able to do this just fine. Okay, so if you have trouble imagining, skip this. But okay, can you think of a container to hold a little piece of something? It doesn't have to be huge because if the whole memory comes into awareness, we're not using container, we're using grounding. Does that make sense? So we need a container just big enough to hold a piece of something. Can you imagine a box that has a lid on it? Notice what it's made of. Okay. Do you have it? In your mind, thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. You got it? Okay, good. Can you imagine a little blank Post-it note going into that box? And can you see the lid close? Does it feel like that blank Post-it note is in there? If not, open it up and see. Right? Check. Make sure it's in there. We need to make sure your container can contain. Okay? Is it in there? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Okay, good. Now the hard part, I want you to imagine that container, and we're going to break every law of physics. And if we did this, we would literally destroy the universe right now, right? So I want you to get that container, send it away from you so that it flies out of the atmosphere, past the moon, past all the planets, including the object formerly known as Pluto. Send it out of the solar system completely. Is it gone? Use your hand, send it away, right? Is it gone? Okay, can you account for the distance? Do you feel the distance between you and that container? Okay, good. Now, why do we contain? We contain because if we leave it in your mind, your brain has to keep making predictions about it. And exposure is going to generate more affect. And remember that we brought it into working memory. That's enough for your brain to make predictions about it. I don't want you to keep thinking about it, right? So we push it out of awareness, not because it's bad. We push it out of awareness because I want all of awareness to be available to what's coming next. And you know what's coming next is your calm scene. So imagine this is the little piece of the bad memory. Okay, this little piece of the bad memory, we push it away, but not really far enough. You're trying to be in your calm scene, and it's up here doing this. And then it does this, and then it's doing this. No, we need to stop your calm scene, catch it, contain it, and send it 1 billion miles further away because you didn't send it far enough away when I asked you to. So if the memory is showing up in your calm scene, one of several things is happening. Number one, you didn't send it far enough away. You need to see it go past the icy cold object of Pluto, right? Way, 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 way far away. You need to send it far, far away. Or you overactivate it. Or even though you're in your calm scene, you have parts of you that want to dance with it. You have parts of you that want to play with it, that want to like try to see what else it connects to. All of those we have to stop. Nope, nope, nope. If distress is showing up in your calm scene, we need to stop and deal with that distress and do not go forward until the distress is moving away from you. Got it? I say this many times, we do not push into distress, not 1/100th of 1 ounce in flash. If you have 1/100th of an ounce of distress, you need to stop and put that 1/100th of an ounce in your container and send it away. Okay? Container. And if you struggle with any of that, just try that. Right? Whatever it is, just try it. Send it away. Okay? When we're doing this, I want to see your hands. Send it away. Now, those of you that struggle imagining, I have bean bags, 50 of them that I put on my little desk between me and you. And the bean bags, here's what the client does if they struggle imagining or they struggle microactivating, either of those two. The bean bag, you throw it in the air and you catch it, but the client only thinks about the memory. They get the bean bag, they throw it up, they catch it with their hands. They only think about the memory when the bean bag is in the air. Do you know what that is? That is a timer to keep you from falling too deeply into the memory. Whatever is distressing on any channel, you put into the bean bag. And then you throw the bean bag across the room toward the wicker basket on the floor over there. Do you see what we just did there? We just outsourced microactivate container to an actual object. Now, okay, bean bags cost $30. I can't do that for all my telehealth clients. You know what you can do? You can get a piece of paper, tear it into strips, tear those strips into cubes, make little bitty balls of paper, and you know what you've got? You've got something to throw it up in the air. Think about the memory only when the little ball of paper is in the air. You catch it and you send it away. You see what we've just done there? And through telehealth, you don't care. Do you know why? Because those aren't even junking up your floor. And your client will go and they'll scoop them up and they'll put them in a little solo cup and they'll be there for next time. Okay, so if you can't visualize, try that. It works well. On the 4Blinks website, there's a demo of using beanbags. That walks you through, just reminds you of how to use a beanbag or how to use a little piece of paper to microactivate, contain. Okay? Yes, beanbags on Amazon are pretty inexpensive. They come next day for most locations. So yeah, good. I don't have a shop. I'm not selling anything, but I could probably get a kickback from Amazon for, y'all make a shop, y'all make a flash shop, y'all do something with that. Yeah. So, okay. Shop vac, anybody here, page 10, anybody here ever used the vacuum cleaner? No, I do trainings all the time with people who've never used the vacuum cleaner. Have you ever used the dust buster? Yeah. Or have you ever dropped coins into a car wash vacuum to like clean up a car? And again, when I think about this, I think about my kid because my son, I was kind of primary caregiver for him, and he loved Cheerios. So I just remember like dust busting Cheerios and vacuuming Cheerios for years, because of course they were fun to play with. So yes, the question in the chat is throwing it away far enough. Yes, it is. For many people that struggle to visualize, sending it across the room is far enough. Yeah. So those of you, and if you can't imagine, I mean, if you don't have an experience with a vacuum, can you imagine a hose that has a powerful suction? And can you imagine vacuuming something up with that hose? Can you like have an experience in your mind of a very powerful thing that can just vacuum up, I don't know, pieces of paper on your floor? Do you know what I mean? Can you vacuum up something like that? Imagine it. Good. So can you get in touch with any prior experience you've had of a vacuum? Get in touch with the sensory aspects of it. Like vacuuming up a couch or vacuuming up crumbs or whatever it is you do. Okay, good. Now, I hate to activate you a tiny bit, just a tiny bit, but it's a Tuesday. Can you think maybe think about a client that's kind of a little bit frustrating for you or a little bit annoying? Can you think about that client just a little bit? And if you get a little bit of activation in your body, can you find it and vacuum it out real quick? Don't let it pull your skin, but move your hand over wherever that is that shows up a little bit in your body. And again, sometimes people just do this. They just like do this, and that's okay, right? So wherever that little bit of activation is, vacuum it out. Okay? And you don't have to get all of it, just try to get as much as you can. Because from a predictive mind, distress in the body is a problem. Distress from that memory in the body is confirmation, not prediction error. Remember? So if we want the memory to we want your brain to update. Each piece of that memory is over. And if it's happening in your viscera, it's not over. Your brain isn't going to update it as over if it's happening in your body. Remember that our minds also have to make predictions to explain our body sensations. And it's not a big leap for it to go, yeah, I know why that sensation is showing up in my body because it's from that crappy memory and it feels like it's happening right here, right now. So the stress in your body needs to go either into the container or we need to deal with it with sensory grounding. Make sense? Distress in your body from that memory only is a problem. So there's a lot of vacuuming in Flash. But if you vacuum, and then the next time you activate again and you vacuum, no. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go, all right, let's deal with that distress. We're going to ground, vacuum, do whatever we need to do. And I'm going to say, next time, I need you to look at the memory 100 times faster. Because distress in the body is by definition overactivation in Flash. So if you have distress in the body from that memory, you've overactivated. Okay? So the way we manage activation is by looking at the memory faster next time. And then faster again next time. And if you can't look at the memory fast enough to where it doesn't come into the room like Kramer, you have to stop and find a memory where you can. Okay, we'll get to that memory later, but today that memory wants to explode into awareness and it's not letting you microactivate it. Okay? All right. Step 2, develop the calm scene. I'm going to give you 90 seconds to go to YouTube and find something that if you were among polite company and you look down and you see it on your phone, you might just burst out open mouth laughing. What is it that just shifts how you feel quickly in the present moment? Find it. And then when you find it, put in chat what it is so that other people can kind of get ideas about what is it that you do. So find it, load it up. I'm going to give you 90 seconds to just hang out in your pleasant scene. And yes, ads show up. Ads show up. It's how billionaires make their money for their rockets and whatnot. So I don't know what to tell you. YouTube Premium's not that expensive. So, yep, YouTube Premium does the trick. All right, good. How'd that go? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Doing all right? Good. You can, the calm scene, pleasant scene, engaging scene, distracting scene, whatever it is, it has two rules. Two rules. Number one, it's got to shift how you feel quickly because I'm only giving you, between looking away and looking back, I'm only giving you about 4 seconds to be in it before I do the next number and you look away and then look back, right? Or before I say blink again, okay? So it's got to shift how you feel quickly, okay? The other rule for the calm scene, and this is really important, it cannot intersect the bad memory in any way. The calm scene cannot intersect the bad memory in any way. And that's a problem for people with complex trauma because, boy, everything intersects to some degree, doesn't it? So let me give an example. You can't use laughing babies to process a memory of child loss, right? You can't use a beautiful Maui beach to process divorce trauma when that's where you honeymooned. Does that make sense? You can't. So, and if there is an intersection, Flash is crashing. So let me give an example. Suppose you're working on divorce trauma and you're using Parks and Rec clips. Well, guess what? That may have been the only part of your whole marriage that didn't suck in COVID. Does that make sense? And you can't do it because you're going to remember the evening in 2001 where y'all watched this episode. Does it make sense? It's an intersection. You can't use a picture. You can't use a picture or video of your children to process adversity that your children went through. Does it make sense? You can't. You can't. So fortunately, there are tens of billions of videos on YouTube. There are scenes on YouTube that don't intersect. Okay? With the individual memory you're working on today. Okay, good. Sensory grounding. Do you have everything you need for grounding? Do you have something for the sense of smell? Do you need to go get your vanilla candle? You need to go get your essential oils? Do you have what you need? Do you have a drink? I'll let people move. See people moving around. We'll let them come back, and then we'll do our sensory grounding exercise. I love grounding kits. I love grounding kits. We make grounding kits with my clients. We have postcards of puppies and kittens, and we have I have, believe it or not, you can buy 10 pounds of warheads. I have 10 pounds of warheads in my office. It's like super, super sour candy. You don't have to use that. You can use lemon heads. You can use whatever. But we need things. Remember what we have to actually help you heal. The levers that we have in the predictive mind to actually let you heal is simply what we're activating and what we're asking you to attend to. And by attend to, I mean present based attention and right here, right now. So you got to be here with me. You got to be here with me for Flash to work. Okay, you got to be in 2026. You can't be in 1977 and expect Flash to work. Okay, so sensory grounding. We're going to check each of the senses for only a few moments. Okay. Yeah. We're going to check each of the senses for only a few moments. And then we're going to go to the next one. Okay. And all we're doing is we're just checking. Okay. So good. If your parts are okay with trying this exercise, I invite you to look around your current room. Notice whatever you see. Notice if you were to touch each object, would it be hard or soft or some other texture? Good. If you have a piece of furniture near you, just touch it and notice, is it warmer, cooler, or the same temperature as your hand? Good. I'm going to be very quiet. Notice whatever you hear in order of loudest first. Good. If you have something near you that has a smell, feel free to engage in that. If you have something near you that has a taste, feel free to engage in that. Okay, good. How did that go? Go okay? If it did help you connect a little bit more to the present moment, which of those senses feel like they may have been the most anchoring for you? Because that's the one I want you to start with if the memory wants to pull you in when you're doing this practice. Okay? Good. So again, our 4 resources: container, shop vac, calm scene, pleasant scene, and sensory grounding. Those form the 4 walls of our chimney that allow us to do this work without risk of burning the house down. We need all 4. And if you struggle, we need an appropriate accommodation. Okay, so those of you who may have struggled with the shop vac, again, shop vac can be triggering. First of all, shop vac can be a problem because it's a visualization. So how do you get distress out of your body if you struggle visualizing already? Do you get up and wiggle? You know what I mean? Can we breathe it out? How do you get distress out of your body quickly? We need to do that. We need an appropriate accommodation for it. A movement strategy may be helpful, right? Good. Also, shop vac may be problematic because people that were punished a lot with chores, vacuums may be difficult constructs. There's some medical procedures where vacuums or suctions may be involved. So if a vacuum is a triggering construct, we need another means to get it out. One of the things you can try is wherever you find distress, can you use your hands, scoop it up with your body and your hands and send it away? Can you scoop it up and send it away? If it's in your shoulders, can you just, you know what I mean? Can you just do like flicking and like send it away? Can we? Right? So again, attention and is a lot of what we have as far as the levers to adjust things. All right. Really quickly, step 3, page 14, step 3, select the memory but don't activate it. That's going to take a little bit of practice for y'all to get used to, but we're selecting the memory. Think about a desktop. The desktop on your computer. What happens when you left click an item once? Okay? It selects it, but it doesn't open it. Does that make sense? We're not double clicking. We're just clicking once on it. What are the 4 resources? They are container, shop vac, your video, and sensory grounding. Okay? Good. Again, there's not a lot more to say about step 3. Don't let your client give you a trauma narrative. Long story short, get consent before you start, not to let them give you a trauma narrative. Step 4, load up your column scene. Let me know when you're there. And typically, classic Flash, you do blinks. We're going to do numbers. All 4 of them are required in this version of Flash. Yep, all 4 of them are a requirement or appropriate accommodations for them. If the client's struggling with one of them, we need all 4. You have to be able to do grounding to do Flash safely. Okay? You have to be able to do calm scene to have prediction error. Right? You have to be able to contain, not to pollute your calm scene. And you have to be able to use your shop vac to keep distress out of your body. None of them are optional in this version of Flash. They're all required. Yep. Step 4, load up your calm scene. You're going to be in your calm scene, except every 5 seconds, I'm getting you out of it and you go back into it. And again, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to have y'all done this yet? Go ahead and do this now if you haven't done it. Get a piece of paper and write the numbers randomly from 0 to 10 on that piece of paper. Just spread them all around. Yep. You're going to need a piece of paper with numbers randomly written on it somewhere. Okay? So here's what's going to happen. Imagine I'm your calm scene. Do you all have that? Thumbs up, thumb sideways. You have your numbers. Okay. Let's imagine I'm your calm scene. I'm the goats climbing on the side of the mountain. Okay, good. Load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. You're all looking at me for about 5 seconds. And then Tom says 4. Find the 4. As soon as you find the 4, look right back at the calm scene. Do you see what we did there? You just had a new goats or a new Tom or a new whatever. Make sense? Good. 7. Excellent. Y'all are getting the hang of this. Is it. That's it. It's no more complicated than that. 0. Did you forget the 0? We got the 0. Write it down. Good. 9. Do you see? That's it. That's all we do. Okay? Load up your calm scene. By the way, just remember how I said that it is the large number of positive experience that's healing you. Do you know what happens when you don't disrupt the calm scene at all in Flash? You let it go for 30 minutes at a time. 30 seconds at a time. Do you know what happens? I do, because I've dismantled it here. Do you know what happens? The memory still resolves. It just takes 2 hours instead of 35 minutes. Why? Because it takes longer to get to the hundreds of prediction errors generated by that the blinks generate. How many sets of blinks? I'm going to give you 5 numbers, 5 seconds apart, and the last number I'm going to wait 5 seconds. So that's where the 6th pleasant experience is. So load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. You nod. 7, 3, 2, 6, 4. Wait. That's your 6th calm scene. Okay? Good. Step 5. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far away. Let me know when it's gone. And when I see you do that, I know it's gone. Then I say, load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. Okay, and we do this until it's getting hard for you to find what's distressing in the memory. And then when you do that, I want you to start playing the memory from the very first frame. And then find the first piece of it, catch it, contain it, and then do calm scene with blinks, go back to that piece, check it again. So all of you, when we do this group in about 10 minutes, we do this group in a minute, y'all are all going to arrive there at different times. Does that make sense? So when you can't find distress in the memory easily, I want you to start playing it and then digest each piece of it until you get to the end of the memory, go back, play it again, and then digest it, right? Until you can play the whole memory beginning to end. Your calm scene video can play the whole time unless the audio in it is distracting you. Does that make sense? It can play the whole time. What people often do is they activate over here, they send it away over here, and the calm scene is here. Make sense? So when I say think about the bad memory, people just turn and look away. Yeah. When you say the video of the memory, are you meaning more than a slice of it? No. By this point, you can't find a slice of it easy. I want you to play the whole memory one frame at a time, right? Play the memory from the beginning until you find the first piece of distress. When you find the first piece of distress, stop, catch, contain that piece of distress, and then do calm scene with blinks. I'm going to guide you through this. I'm just not guiding you to check the video because, yeah, makes sense? You're playing the video of the bad memory until you find the first piece of distress in it. I really want it. So how do we dissociate? We don't typically dissociate by staring at still images. Why would most of us dissociate by watching videos? Does it make sense? So you can, and it may be fine, but if it's not working, find a video. Does it make sense? Videos tend to be really compelling to our predictive mind. Okay? A still image is a still image. It's not changing, it's not updating, your brain's not making a whole bunch of new predictions about it, etc. Yeah. And then you process the memory until there's no distress in it. Now, and you can play the memory from beginning to end and there's no distress on any channel. I want to talk very briefly about step 7, which is the future scene. By the time you've done Flash a few times, you already know how to do step 7. Do you know what you do? Okay, I'll get to Ebony's question in a second. When you're in the future scene, let's play the future scene. So think about working on the future scene. Can you think of a memory related to the past memory? Can you think of a future thing related to the past memory that you might want to work on, that you may have some anxiety about? Okay, and in that case, what we do is we say, okay, let's fill out that scene a little bit. It's not the next time you get a memo. It's not the next time I see news on the TV I don't like. It's what is it? Where are you? Like in the kitchen, they said, why do you have to be so ... and then walked out of the room. Okay, good. That scene, push it out of your awareness. Let me know when it's gone. Okay, good. Calm scene, do our numbers, do our blinks. Good. And you know what we do? Good. Very quickly think about the future scene. Whatever's distressing in that future scene, catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. And we do that until it's getting hard to find what's distressing in the future scene. And then you know what you do? You play the video of the future scene, digesting each piece of distress as you go along. Okay, so step 7 is just, all you're doing is you're changing tense from a past memory to a future scene. You're doing the same exact process in a single step. Okay? Ebony's question, step 5, what if they find nothing in the millisecond? The millisecond that I say, so what I'm going to say is very quickly think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. After a few rounds of this, your client isn't going to find anything in a millisecond. It's going to take them a few seconds. And that's okay. Does that make sense? I just want to say, I want you to get the tiniest piece of it. Does that make sense? So if you can't find distress in the after and you've digested the pieces of the memory that have come like Kramer, you've digested that, you're going to have to start looking for what's distressing. And that's going to take more than a few hundred milliseconds. It may take a few seconds. Okay. And then when you're noticing in an individual session, when you're noticing it's taking like 10 seconds to find what's distressing, that's a good time to see if the client's ready to go to the video of the bad memory and start processing and removing distress a little bit at a time. All right, questions. Questions, not about cases, questions. All right, where this version of Flash breaks. Overactivation. Overactivation is the problem. It is so non-intuitive. You've never done this before. If you haven't done Flash, your clients have never done this before. That's why I want you to start with something very small to learn how to do this well. And by the fourth or fifth time your clients have done this Flash well with something increasingly bigger, they're going to become Flash ninjas. And when they're a Flash ninja, they can work anywhere they want to work. Okay. When I say load up the calm scene, they are, again, you're not imagining the calm scene. You're not imagining the calm scene. The calm scene is playing on YouTube. Okay. Good. Clients don't get overactivated when they play back the memory after having digested 98% of the memory. They find pieces of distress. Some of those pieces of distress may contain a lot of distress in them, but that's okay. We handle it like a hot potato, right? The moment it comes into awareness, it goes away. We do not play the video until the client's already digested most of the memory. If parts do not consent to doing this, we are not doing this. If you're working with a dissociative system, you need to get to know that dissociative system, and that dissociative system needs to get to know you. Flash is not an end run around DID. My clients with DID do great in Flash eventually, but it's the one category of client I'm not jumping into Flash with immediately. I can't get consent. And I'm not doing Flash until we get consent from all parts of you. The first frame, okay, give me a second. In step 6, the first frame is until a piece of distress happens. The frame is you're just playing the video until you find the first piece of distress. Does that make sense? You're just playing the video until you find the first piece of distress. You're not skipping things. You're like playing the memory, and then when you find the first piece of distress, you're stopping. Yep. Good. All right. Super important piece of information, because this is where people get really, 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 really confused. We don't have time. We don't have time for any more questions except for Rachel's. So give me a second. This is very important. If I am not, and again, I invite everybody to look at me, because I have to explain it so many times. If I'm not right now with my voice asking you to think about the memory, if I am not explicitly right now asking you to think about the memory, there is no time when you are thinking about the memory. Are you thinking about the memory when you're blinking or when you're looking at the number? No, I didn't ask you. I asked you to look at the number, not think about the memory, right? You're only thinking about the memory in step 5 and step 6, when you're playing the video and when you're thinking about it really quickly. And the core of this work If I'm not asking you to think about the memory and you're thinking about the memory, you're doing flash wrong and you may be about to get hurt by it. Don't think about the memory if I'm not asking you to. And if parts of you want to think about the memory, remind them that there's 167 other hours in the week when they can think about this memory as much as they want. Ask them if it would be okay for them to hang out with you in the calm scene. And if they say no, then you need to stop and you need to find a memory that they're willing to not ruminate about while you're in your calm scene. Make sense? Okay, Rachel.
I think Ebony was asking my question. Basically, like if you play the movie, they find a point of distress, then you go back to calm scene. Then how do you have them return to it? How do you phrase that, I guess?
The language that is in the script is when you return to the memory that just had distress, when you return to the part of the memory that just had distress in it. Now we're
Okay.
here. I'm returning you to that piece that just
Yeah.
had distress.
Okay.
Is there any distress in it in this moment?
Okay. Thank you.
And if yes, we just could do it. And if no, we play the memory forward until we find the next piece of distress. So we're digesting, go back, play it again. Oh, there's a little bit more, digest it. And then you play it all the way through and then you're done. Yep, good. So the answer to the last question, page 21. This version of Flash has its rules. So does United Airlines. Does that make sense? So, number one, as a reminder, do not use an imaginary calm scene. Be sensible about the memory you're working on today. It's a Tuesday evening. Why would you grab the biggest, most horrible monster to work on in a demo with something you've never done before? Don't. Grab a little bitty tiny something. I do flash practice groups every week. Every week I do a flash practice group you can come to for free. Work on increasingly bigger things there. But if this is your first experience with Flash, don't grab a monster. I have to sleep tonight. My liability insurance probably doesn't even cover what might happen if you sue me. So don't do anything crazy. Does that make sense? Don't. Be reasonable. If distress comes at any point, immediately stop. Deal with that distress and do not push forward until the distress is moving away from you. Do not push into distress. We're so attached to pushing into distress. That's how you get hurt in Flash. If this isn't largely painless, stop. If this isn't largely painless, I promise you, Flash is not working because you're not having prediction error. You're having confirmation. You're adding and reinforcing the trauma. You're not having prediction error. Okay. This you may not like. I don't care. It's my rule. Develop your own version of Flash and you can do whatever you want to do. We work one memory at a time only. With people with complex trauma, we work one memory at a time only. I don't care. We can do another memory right after this one if there's time in session. One memory at a time only. The door that lets in 2 will let in 27. The same door that lets in 2 memories will let in 27. And I'm trying to update a little piece of a memory, not process a whole theme. Don't do it. One memory at a time only. Okay? Yeah. If grief comes, let yourself feel it. We grieve by grieving. We don't flash grief. Let yourself grieve. If there's grief in this memory, let yourself feel it. Grief's probably going to come as a wave. Let it come, let it peak, let it settle. Okay, good. All right. Man, let's take a little 3-minute break. It's good to use the restroom before trauma work. Go get a drink, go get a warm or cool drink for grounding. Come back in about 3 minutes and we'll get started. All right. Welcome back, shall we? All right. Let's do a quick check-in. Okay. Do you know what to do if distress comes when you're in your pleasant scene? Stop, catch it, contain it, and send it 1 billion miles further away than you sent it last time. Okay. Do you know what to do if every time you look at the memory, it kicks you like a horse in the chest? Stop. Do not go forward. Find a smaller memory to work on today. Find a memory that isn't walloping you every time you think about it quickly. Okay. If you're having difficulty, message me in chat. I can keep the group going and respond to your message. Do not message me about cases while I'm leading the group. Does that make sense? If you're having problem with your practice of Flash, you have questions about your experience with it, message me and I'll help you. Okay. There's also a safety sheet on page 29 that you can reference if you don't want to message me. The safety sheet on page 29, 30, 31, 32 addresses almost any problem you might have. Okay. Let's start because we're already, darn it, I've talked too long about predictive processing where we don't have that much time to actually do the practice. I'm free. So we're going to do this until we're going to do this like 23, 24 minutes. And then we're going to stop on the hour. And then if you're available, hang out and we'll do questions. So I was just going to have to go a little bit over because time management wasn't that good on my end. So we'll do 2 rounds in the calm scene. After that, I'm going to have you select the memory. After you select the memory, we're going to do another round in the calm scene, and then we're going to be going. Chop, 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 chop. We're going to be going like this with the microactivate contain calm scene blinks like a pump. We're going to get that pump going, and we're just going to go, go, go. Okay? Good. Let's do questions after. Okay, load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. Good, just be in your calm scene. It's your calm scene that's going to do the work here. Awesome. And you have your numbers? Okay, good. 5. Find the 5 and then go right back into your calm scene. 8. 3. 6. And 1. Okay, good. How did that go? Okay, good. Load up your calm scene again. Just be in your calm scene. 6. 8. 4. 2. And 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Good. All right. Can you find a reasonable small memory that you'd like to work on today? An individual memory that happened at a particular place and a particular time. It's not a theme, it's an individual memory that happened at a particular place and a particular time. And if so, do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? Check. Make sure that all parts of you are okay with it. If so, send it away. Look at a blank ceiling, look at a blank wall, blank it out, and then when it's gone, calm scene. Use your resources if you notice distress. And get out of sync with me at any time and come back in. Okay? Good. Five. Right back into your calm scene. Good. 3. 2. 1. And 9. Okay, good. How'd that go? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. You doing okay? If you're struggling, do you know why and do you have a plan to fix it? So do the plan to fix it. Everybody else, it's on track. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. So be in your calm scene. Two, 8, 9, and 4. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Six, 8, 4, 3, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. If you're having trouble, message me. Otherwise, calm scene. Two, 9, 6, 3, 8, and 0. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay. Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 4, 6, eight, 7, 5, and 6. Okay, good. How did that go? Okay, good. If you're struggling, stop, right? Stop, deal with the struggle. If nothing else, just hang out in your calm scene. Okay. If you're on track, keep going. Lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 8, 6, and 4. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 2, 4, 6, 2, and 0. Okay, good. How did that go? Okay, good. Lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 4, 6, 2, and 7. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 6, 4, 3, 2, and 0. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. If you're on track, lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 2, 4, 8, 0, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 3, 6, 9, 2, and 0. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. We've only got probably 3 or 4 more rounds, then we're going to do our check-in. It's just not enough time for most of you to have maybe even noticed much in that, but let's just keep going with our other rounds. Lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 2, 8, 5, 6, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Three, 6, 8, 4, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Nine, 2, 5, 6, and 3. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Last round. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 5, 3, 0, 9, and 2. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. All right. How are you doing? If you have some residual, you need to maybe use your resources to manage it. Okay, good. Remember, you have 4 resources that work pretty well. Use them. Use them if you need to deal with any kind of aftermath or stuff that comes up after session. Okay, good. What questions do you have? Yes, Tommy.
Just very quickly, when I identified the piece of distress, and then you said send it away and until out of my awareness, and then go back to the distraction. Um, is it okay if I just go right back to the distractions, even though like I didn't fully send that away, as long as it doesn't pop up during the pleasant video?
If you can really microactivate small enough with that memory, you may not have to send it away. Does it make sense? But it's good practice to do that. It's good practice just to do that, just to remind parts of you that we're not trying to think about it, ruminate it, etc. So if that works for you, fine. Just realize it may not work for many of your clients. Yeah, good. Questions? Yes, funny.
So the memory I chose was not at all like traumatic. I don't have much of an influence or anymore, but I kind of noticed my heart racing a little bit, even though the memory does not necessarily seem to have any distress associated with it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was like where, am I not finding it? Is that what kind of raised the heart rate or that sensation? Where is that coming from?
I'm not sure, but you'll get more information when you play the video of the memory. And
Okay.
does any piece of any part of that memory cause any activation in your body or anywhere in your nervous system, including your thoughts or emotions or anywhere
Okay.
else? Yeah.
Got it.
The videos, what's going to let us know. Yeah, Russell.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. I might have missed this. So when we're looking at the numbers on this, that is instead of doing the blinking
Correct.
for the training. So you could do this or the blinking, or like you said earlier, look away,
Look at a
whatever.
doorknob.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. The numbers are just an alternative to blinking. And why do I do the numbers? Because blinking is not a very, we have like 50 people doing this. Does it make sense together? And some people blink like that. That is a very clear disruption. Some people blink like that. And I don't know that that actually disrupted your calm scene, but I know looking away, searching for another object, and then looking back is going to be a clear disruption and generate a new experience in your calm scene. So looking away is a hard interrupt of the calm scene and then gets you back into it. We also want to understand that this is so non-intuitive. It's hard for many of us to do. Also, we need to understand that many people with neurodivergence are going to need many adjustments because Flash is filled with fast task switching. And some people with neurodivergence do really fine with fast task switching. Some people really struggle with fast task switching. So in a group, I can't slow things down for you, but in an individual session, I can. Does it make sense? So again, in an individual session, um, yes, again, yeah, in an individual session, you're going to be able to match it to your client's nervous system. You don't have to use numbers. Numbers are triggering for people. You can use colors. You can have the client tell you 5 objects in the room: lamp, purse, shoes, book, whiteboard. And you write them down and you just say lamp and you say whiteboard and you say, right, you say random objects and then they find it. And yeah, I'm Lori.
Just checking. So with the memory, there can be different aspects of that micro slice. So just confirmation for this, whether it's visual images, cognitions or beliefs, negative
Whatever.
beliefs about self. Okay.
Yep. Whatever comes out of that individual memory, that's what we catch contain. Sometimes you have to imagine writing things down. If it's a thought, you may have to put the thought on a post-it and crumple it up and send it away. Sometimes you have to make a thought concrete enough to send it far enough away to get it out of your awareness. Yeah, Andrea.
So when you were having us like go back to the memory, I noticed like for me, a lot of the same image was coming up. Not that it was super stressful, but like that's just what like came to mind first.
Yeah.
Is that like an issue or is there
No,
something else we're supposed to be looking for? Okay.
no. Whatever comes, if a memory is this big, for
Hmm.
some people, this piece, this piece, this piece, that piece, this piece may come 10 times in a row. And
Yeah.
then this piece, and then this piece that came 10 times in a row, it may come another 4 times. And then
Yeah.
wherever your nervous system wants to select, that's the piece we go with.
Okay.
So
And
in
then
the, yeah,
also, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Also, as we're like the whole time, like our calm scene, like if it's a YouTube video, like it's just playing on loop, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, Ebony.
Yeah, good. This was really good. Thank you very much. So I'll just give a little like brief overview, but then I have a question that leads right after it. So
Yeah.
for me, personally, I was looking at the memory too long because I did get a little teary-eyed. So I was really grateful for the safety sheet. That was really good to reference, and I just looked at it quicker, and then it was good. I did notice that I stayed in step 5 and I didn't have any thoughts or anything. It was like I was literally just the topic. It was just the headline of the
No.
memory just right there. But then I also noticed like I was carrying a lot in my body. So when I threw the memory, when I went back to my comps, I also threw the sensations with it
Yeah.
and to get it off of my body. So it was kind of like shop vac and memory in one, but like threw it all off of me. And it was good though. And then I got back into the calm scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to give like a little brief synopsis on this. But this is my question. At what point are we looking at like, so once we complete step 7, then do we ask them like, so what's your belief about yourself? I kind of want to know
Yeah.
what's the conclusion here.
Yeah.
And when do we ask that?
Well, it's not in the script because it's you, by the time you get to the end of step 6, you already believe it. Does that make sense? I mean, I know it's there. I'm telling you, you can ask your client and they'll tell you what belief they believe more strongly about themselves related to that memory. And they'll tell you that they believe it very strongly. Does it make sense? So it's not that we're doing anything with that, although you can. Does it make sense? There's nothing wrong with ending a session by, how does that feel that you believe that this isn't your fault, even though you've spent most of your life thinking it was? Do you know what I mean? Where's that showing up in your body? Do you want to notice that? You want to be present with that. How would you like to bring that into your week next week? Do you know what I mean? But that's not in the script.
Okay. So you would encourage after step 6 before step 7? Because we would bring
step
it into step
7's
7
future
kind of.
template. Step
Yeah.
7's future template is working on something in the future. Step 6 is where we're digesting the video, each piece of the video. And it's at the end of step 6 that the positive belief should be present. Okay, awesome. Good. Sarah.
Hi. I'm curious how you handle if clients sort of get bored or kind of disengage with the process. I've done it before with blinks and then tonight with the numbers. I found that that was less engaging for me, and shifting my eyes like that tended to get me like too present in like my space.
Yeah.
And my video was like a minute long loop, which I found engaging, but then also was like, okay, I'm kind of bored with this.
Yeah.
Before we would have ended, really, sorry, with the processing process.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of information here and a lot of things to pretty easily change. It sounds like you need a very engaging, calm scene, pleasant scene. I mean, it may need to be, and a minute, you're probably going to get bored with it after 4 or 5 rounds, right? So you may need something longer than a minute. Maybe blinks work better for you than numbers. Yeah, it's just information. Does it make sense? So when you do flash, adjust it.
So if you were with a client, would you like pivot in the moment? Like if they were like, coming to you like this, like I'm bored, I can't stay engaged now. Like would you find
Yeah.
something else in the moment and just
Yeah.
re-engage with it?
Yeah, we're going to find a more exciting, calm scene video. We're going to find something on YouTube that activates your dopamine. We're going to find something that,
Right.
again, what's your favorite song? Do you know what I mean? Like your really, really engaging song.
Yeah.
Do we need to get up and dance? I mean, I don't know. What do we need to do to like make it more engaging? Or is this engagement coming as a protective response from doing this work?
Or the time of day. I'm tired and
Or the time of day, absolutely. I don't recommend you do flash at nearly 10 o'clock at night. Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Good. All right. How can you learn more? EMDR Cleveland. If you go to EMDR Cleveland website, I do 6-hour flash trainings where we have 3 practicums. Okay, in that 6-hour training. You're welcome to take it. That longer flash training has a lot more practicum in it. On the very bottom of the EMDR Cleveland website, you can find your way back to this training. These trainings are currently free. Sometimes they're $25 optional. Sometimes they're free. It just depends. Um, the consultation groups are at the bottom of that page, emdrcleveland.com. Scroll down to the bottom. The free consultation groups are there. Bring your cases, bring your questions. We'll talk about it, right? Many people don't have a need to come back to consultation after a couple of times. Does it make sense? They really do. Flash is pretty easy to adjust. It's once you develop the new intuition for it, you have it pretty at your fingertips pretty regularly. I offer weekly flash processing groups. I believe the next group is tomorrow or Thursday. It's tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. At this time, tomorrow night, I do a free flash processing group. You're welcome to come out of just the intent of helping keep therapists healthy. It's not, you can't send your clients here, but yeah. The major adjustment in the last few months is really, I would say the last year, is predictive processing has been really put front and center and acting more active. I mean, it's always been a big component of this, but I've been more explicit in saying this is what a mind is, this is why it works. The other adjustment is the option to do numbers, right? Near most people who were trained with blinks like the numbers better. Some people like the blinks better. It's okay, whatever you like, it doesn't matter. You can literally tap your legs. That's enough of a disruption to disrupt your pleasant scene, right? It's a motor movement designed to disrupt your concentration on your pleasant scene, thus generating a new exposure to it. So, yeah. Sometimes, I don't want to say that for neurodivergent folks, slowing down's the answer. Sometimes it's slowing down at some parts and speeding up at others, right? So it's really tailoring this exactly for what they need. Remember, I'm getting constant feedback in an individual session. I'm not getting any feedback other than this or this in a group session. So it's hard to lead a group tightly. Yeah, Carrie.
I'm wondering if the bad memory is more of a neglect experience and
Don't
part of the
start,
phenomenon.
don't start there.
Okay.
That's
What if
molasses.
what if this is already a very established client and we've addressed neglect a long time?
Then find one memory of neglect. Find
So
one
that's
memory of
always a
neglect.
specific,
We're never
experience.
targeting a theme. We're always targeting an individual memory that happened at a particular
Yeah.
place.
And is just there anything different you'd look out for in the processing or okay.
No.
Thank you. It's
No.
been great. Thanks so much.
All right. Yeah, thank you. All right. Do y'all know how to come back? Do y'all know how to get more information? Okay, good. All right. Thank you. Be in touch. Be in touch. Be in touch. Bye-bye.